program in Hebrew University that trains young Israelis to be teachers in the secular public schools in Israel. It's a 4-year program that gives the students a bachelor's, a master's, and teaching certification. And after the program, the students who go to be teachers in the schools have to commit for 4 years of teaching. In order to enable the students to really focus on their studies, they get stipends and scholarships. They're mentored by experienced and excellent teachers in the field from day one. I'm one of the first Revivim students who was in the school, and together with a few other people who came with me, we actually created the whole subject of Jewish studies, which existed but in a very minor way before. It's people who really want to dedicate themselves to Jewish education in Israel.
I think the Jewish identity here in the school is very, very strong. I mean, in the first years I didn't really realize or didn't quite feel it. I can clearly remember in 8th grade when a big group of young teachers, full of, with passion in their eyes, just came in. And these were the Revivim teachers, and it's very clear that they love what they teach.
When we were in 8th grade, we learned Tanakh. They divided us up into very small groups, and they had these students come and teach us. And just the learning like that in a small group with this young kind of energetic teacher who had all these different ideas and maybe what the stereotype of teacher is, and also learning about the Tanakh and Jewish philosophy in different ways that you would never think about.
Learning Machshavet Israel, which is Jewish philosophy, and a Bible of them really made the school much more interesting for me than any other school I can think of. That really changed my identity and the way I think.
Pluralism is one of the biggest values that they emphasize here. That everyone can connect however they want. It doesn't have to be strictly secular or strictly religious. There are a lot of in-betweens, and there are a lot of ways.
I chose to learn in this school because it puts emphasis on Jewish studies in a liberal kind of context. What I really liked about Revivim is that it makes all the kind of very serious, profound Jewish studies very relatable. It's very relevant to our lives, and it allows us to be exposed to these very interesting material in a really kind of open discussion, freely, in a really kind of nice way that everyone can kind of connect.
אני רואה את רביבים כסוג של טיפות טל. אם בעבר היה דימוי שהם באים לבית הספר כרוח סערה, אני מרגיש שהסטודנטים שמגיעים אלינו בשנה ג', ב', ג', ד' ואחרי כן נשארים בבית הספר, יש בהם עדינות שמשדרים אותה לתלמידים.
Definitely Avia, starting Machshavet Israel, and I think she's just really open to listen to everyone, and she's a really good teacher.
I think a really strong memory of when I realized the impact of these teachers on me was when we were in Poland. Safi was a Machshavet and Tanakh teacher. He sat on the stairs and said, let's for a second not talk about the death, and let's talk about what was created here. We sat and studied the source of Chassidut. These things were written where we were sitting, and had a really kind of deep discussion of what this whole spiritual thing was. And I think it was a really important moment, and that could only have happened because of teachers that kind of think slightly outside of the box, and that trust us and give us real topics because they trust us that we can take it to a deep place, and then we do what we're expected.
השיח עם סטודנטים של רביבים הוא הרבה יותר עמוק ממה שאני פוגש בדרך כלל. הוא בוודאי מעל הממוצע. לתוך חדר המורים, הכניסה של סטודנטים של רביבים היא מאוד משמעותית. לא רק בזה שהם יותר צעירים מחלק לא קטן מהמורים האחרים, אלא משום שהם מקרינים איכות. גם מורים צעירים אחרים שלא באו מרביבים רוצים להידמות למורי רביבים. כשאומרים על מישהו, חשבתי שאתה מרביבים, זה מחמאה.
If we have to learn a piece from the Gemara for the Bagrut, then rather than just having it in the textbook, then, I remember in 10th grade, Avia came and just brought us the Gemara and said, why shouldn't you be able to open one? Why shouldn't you be able to open a Talmud and know who Rashi is?
I can definitely base my arguments and my opinions now about Judaism and about Jewish philosophy and about the Tanakh because I have a basis. I learned a basis here, and that's really important. I really believe you should have the background before you choose or you decide. And that's definitely something amazing the school is giving.